Hi YouTube, Brian James on my path to Paphos here. If you don't know me, if you haven't seen the channel, I'm a dual nationality Irishman cum Brit who moved across to the beautiful island of Cyprus in the Mediterranean Sea in April 2025, and I'm living permanently in the city of Paphos. And I've been asked on this video to give an idea of some of the things I dislike over here. And I'll be honest with you, it's been a difficult thing to do, because if you watch some of the previous videos, you'll find that I have absolutely no regrets coming over here. There's not one regret I've got. I'm so generally happy over here. It's untrue. And when I was asked in the comments and by a couple of people face to face to give me the videos of the bad bits, I really started to struggle a little bit, because there's not that many I can think of. But I've got a little bit of a list here. I'm going to go through some of them. I'm going to tell you some of the ones that I can think of off the top of my head as I'm going. But there's not a great deal of bad things over here, I must admit. But let's have a little look. Well, the first thing that's really been bad is the mosquitoes. I am sick to death of the mosquitoes. Some people are never touched. Some people like me, it's feeding time when I come along. The mosquitoes see me as a three-course lunch, and they devour me. So the mosquitoes and the flies I find particularly oppressive at times. I'm starting to get used to them, and there are sprays you can use, the Avon Skin So Soft and things. I'm not sponsored by Avon, but if you'd like to send me some across, I'd really be appreciative. But Avon Skin So Soft and things like that. So yeah, the mosquitoes and the flies really are a bit of a problem for me. The summer, well, I knew the summers were going to be really hot, and a lot of people had said they would. But when you're working 3 hours at a time, 3 or 4 nights a week as a singer on stage, by the time you get off, you are dead. You really are. So basically, the heat and the humidity. The heat can be getting up into the mid-40s during the day, in the mid-30s in the evenings and night, and the humidity level can be sitting round about the 90% level. It is heavy, it is debilitating. And what happens is you tend to go inside, switch the aircon on, and well, for the rest of the day you sit inside, which isn't really the reason I came across here. So you have to get yourself out and about and acclimatise to the temperatures. I managed. I was determined I was going to get my first summer sorted out and wouldn't be shying away from it. And we're now halfway through August. It's getting towards the end of that season, because it tends to be July and August. So we're starting to find that the temperatures will start to fall off quite quickly and go back to the much more manageable temperatures of September, October and November. So yes, the temperature and the humidity is certainly another one. Water shortages and indeed electricity shortages. The island is struggling at the moment. Most of the reservoirs are fairly empty at their critical levels, and we haven't had any major rainfalls for a couple of years, and that means that we've got some problems with water. There is water rationing, probably less than you have in the UK though. I have seen more hassle about water rationing in the UK than I do here, but there is a common sense attitude towards using water over here too. With the amount of people on the island and the resources available, you have to really be very, very careful with water. They have to ship water in from the mainland, but they're also getting some desalination plants built. There's one being built just up the road from here in Paphos. So water shortages are a problem, and also electricity shortages, because there's so many people switch air conditioning units on now. At peak times you tend to get some problems. So just this week there's been some zonal electricity switch offs up to half an hour at a time. So they'll take somewhere from Paphos, from Limassol, from Larnaca, from Ainapa, in some zones like that, and they'll take the electricity for half an hour. Tomorrow it'll be a different area, and that's just to try and ease some of the load. Some of the cost of imported goods is high. So what you pay in the UK or even mainland Europe or the States can be considerably higher over here, because of course everything has to be imported in. So a lot of things tend to be a little bit higher. Conversely, wages over here, in comparison to what I'm used to in the UK, are shockingly low. Although it's an average across, so the wages do tend to be very, very low in comparison to the UK. I would say for most of the gigs I'm doing over here, I'm literally on just over half the money I would have been getting in the UK. But I was aware of that before I came, so that's where you get it. Slow bureaucracy. There's a lot of bureaucratic processes over here which are antiquated and still done on a very much a one-to-one basis. So rather than national sort of schemes, you get an awful lot done at local level by the Mukhtar or the local town hall. And with the zigga-zigga sort of attitude, and I know I've said that wrong, everybody, whenever I say that, somebody pulls me up. It's the way I want to say it, so that's the way I'm doing it. But with that sort of slowly attitude, it can put a block on an awful lot of things taking place, which if you're in the States or if you're in mainland Europe or the UK or Ireland, it becomes very much a faster process over there compared to over here. There's an earthquake risk. Of course, we have the possibility of earthquakes over here. There's been about 3 in my time that I've been coming to Cyprus over the years, and I'll be honest, I've never felt one. Other people have. Other people told me there was earth tremors and things. I've slept through them all, so they're not bad. We do lie on a fault line, but it's not a major fault line as far as I know. So yes, we do get earthquakes, but they're nothing particularly bad. Homes can be very cold in the winter. The homes over here are really, they're designed to keep the heat out, but they're not very good at keeping the heat in the winter. Some of the more modern homes have got much better insulation, but some of the ones from up to sort of 20, 25, maybe older years old, they tend not to be terrific in the winter, so they can be very cold, and heating bills can become very high. And most of them don't have any sort of central heating system, so they're not the most efficient heating methods in. And of course, we're having tile floors, which are ideal in the summer. They can be incredibly cold in the winter. So yes, the winter over here can be a little bit cold in the rooms. And the trouble with that is it then promotes things like damp and fungi and things to be growing in houses. So it is really important to keep the houses well ventilated and stop some of those things happening and stop the damp forming. Some people might complain a little bit about the off-season quietness. I'm in Paphos, so Paphos doesn't get particularly quiet in the off-season. If you go across to the likes of Idapa, basically the place shuts down November through to March. But over in Paphos, it does tend to be an all-round. But there's a lot of the hotels will close down, and the general atmosphere will get quieter and quieter. So what else is there which I haven't liked about being out here? Most of the things I'm okay on, because a lot of the things are just characteristic of the place. It's not so bad. I think the biggest problem for me, though, more than anything else, is the lack of mail order opportunities, the Amazons and things. Yes, you can get stuff sent across here from Amazon, using maybe Amazon Germany, but it's very slow process. Most mail is slow. If my wife sends me just a normal envelope type letter, can take a couple of weeks to come. And when you get parcels, they don't get delivered to your door, they get delivered to a central pickup point which you've got to drive to and pick it up, but they can be weeks after you send for them. So yes, the general postage system I think is probably the thing which I am least impressed with. Anyway, let me know below what you find your most bad things about living in Cyprus, or if you live over here. I'd really be keen on seeing that. If you aren't a subscriber to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, because it makes such a difference. And give me a thumb up and tick the little all beside the bell, because all those actions don't cost you a penny, but they do make it much better and much easier for more people to see the videos in this channel. And if you have enjoyed this channel, you can do one of two things. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, you can see some member-only videos. I'm doing some member-only videos, which things like the walks around the gardens here, and also some of my personal private views, which I'm not willing to share on the normal channel, but I'm willing to have a chat with some of the private members and some of the inner secrets of me away. So if you'd like to go into that, there's a link in the description below for the memberships. It's very simple. There's 3 different tiers of memberships, and you'll be able to see what your entitlements are from there. And also, if you'd like to buy me a coffee, you'll have seen a QR code up in the corner, because I've been told an awful lot of people watch this on TV sets and you don't see the description below. So if you can do that, you can scan the QR code from your TV set. If you'd like to buy me a coffee or buy me a beer to give a bit of support channel, it really would be appreciated. Anyway, till the next time on my path to Paphos, there's a couple of videos that you can look at here, which you've got, well, you've got this one, and you've got this one, and this one you can go and have a look at those, and you can see some of my previous videos on the channel. Till the next time, man, enjoy your path to Paphos. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.